How did the balloon get up there? I mean, gas goes down, go boom boom like bouncy balls poured into a fish tank, doesn't it? How did the balloon go? Which direction did it go again?
Up.
Oh, I think Mr. Smiley needs to get in touch with Thunderfoot Clown. Point out that his go down, go boom boom with gravity is being violated, and an example that he's punting. He's also simultaneously punting that he can see a physical Earth curve edge in these images.
How does that keep gas pressure then?
All right, I covered this. Imagine gas go down, go boom boom like solid bonded bouncy balls. And you don't need a container, you don't need a lid, because gas isn't expanding in all directions when I describe it as solid bonded bouncy balls. Courtesy of PhD, Thunderfoot Clown. Your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate.
If you see, we all know how fast a balloon will equalize to the lower pressure around it once it's blown up and popped with a pin, and that's only a few psi more, like 14.7, that'd be like 17 psi, that kind of thing, 16, 17 psi, and it violently blows the balloon apart. So I just cannot see how I just cannot see how ballers can't understand that there's no way we could have a vacuum above us. You know,
Okay.
It just wouldn't be possible.
Well, some of them have tried. I'll try my best as a flat earther to not give a sloppy rendition of this, so, don't hold it against me if I don't do a very good job of this, okay? Basically, gas behaves like solid bonded bouncy balls, and if you pour bonded solid bouncy balls into a fish tank, they go down, go boom boom. Courtesy of Thunderfoot Clown. There you go. Gas is not unbonded and doesn't expand in all directions at high speeds to fill the availability of volume. It in fact behaves like solid bonded bouncy balls. Dun 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 dun. Thanks very much, Thunderfoot Clown.
Imagine you had to go and keep with their rhetoric, and you have to go down to the ground to try and breathe because it goes down with one vector. So you have to try and catch your air every time you walk somewhere.
Yeah, next fire safety video you watch, they'll say, yeah, the smoke, that's going to go down, go boom boom. So you get your ass on the ceiling to get away from all the smoke on the ground. Do your Spider-Man impression, because that's going to save your life.
You're missing a key word in a bouncy ball. He says imagine.
Oh, imagine. Yeah, imagine that unbonded gas is like solid bonded bouncy balls, and then it'll go down and go boom boom. Only in your imagination, clowns. Thank Thunderfoot.
Did I somehow do a magic trick then with my demonstration with opening a closed container and the smoke went up?
Wrong. It went down, go boom boom. Just use your imagination.
That's a little weird. When I was a kid, they taught me, if you're in a fire, stop, drop, and roll, because the smoke's gonna the smoke's gonna go up. Where's the gravity keeping the smoke down?
You're just wrong. You're just wrong. It goes down, go boom boom. Imagine solid bonded bouncy balls are like unbonded gas. Have you not got an imagination, Chocolate?
Nah, I like the really is level. I keep the imagination for like the Dragon Ball.
That's totally unreasonable. But it's not fair to ask me to describe the globe rhetoric about anything on the really is level. That's totally unreasonable.
Sloppy. That's the new term for it.
Yes, very sloppy to describe these things, contextualizing the real.
It's done in a fish tank.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got to pour it into the fish tank. That's how you show gas pressure without a container.
Well, they use that sulfur hexafluoride to demonstrate that too.
It's a good thing fish tanks don't contain anything.
Look, just accept it. Gas behaves like bonded solids. That's just how it is. Thunderfoot said so. He's a PhD. Who are you to argue with a clown? I mean, a PhD.
They use some form of gravity. Isn't it? That's what he was trying to say. I can't remember. Something gravitational something.
Yeah, but gravity.
Gravitational
Gravity is a
secretion?
concept.
Was that it?
No,
Just sneak
it
him in,
wasn't.
Alwyn. Just sneak him in.
Secretion.
Don't repeat it. Just let him sneak these things in subtly.
But isn't gravity the bending of space-time? Isn't that a concept?
Yeah. Imagine time as a medium. Now imagine it bending. There you go. Done.
But
Okay, so how does that keep gas pressure?
Hold on. Go ahead, Neil.
How does that keep gas pressure then?
Imagine.
Easy, Neil.
No, I covered this. Imagine gas go down, go boom, boom like solid bonded bouncy balls. And you don't need a container. You don't need a lid, because gas isn't expanding in all directions when I describe it as solid bonded bouncy balls. Courtesy of PhD, Thunderfoot Clown.
No, Nathan, you're wrong. Because energy and matter are interchangeable. So actually the same thing. So it will go down.
But the bottom line here is, joking aside, entropy will take hold. Gas will fill the space. Even if it's super dense man-made sulfur hexafluoride poured into a fish tank, it still has to be contained in the cylinder they roll it in. And they have to put a lid over it when they pump it in, because the turbulence of the air, based on the fact the gas is unbonded, means that it has gaps for other gases to get between. Now, because it's very inert, it means that the entropy increase will be slower, but it's still going to suffer an entropy increase. Given enough time, the sulfur hexafluoride will dissipate and fill the availability of volume it has to fill. It's natural law. It's called entropy. It's not like you can pump sulfur hexafluoride from a sealed canister into a fish tank with cardboard over the top and then walk away and come back a week later and it still be there. That's never going to happen. It will fill the availability of volume. Entropy increase. It's proportional to time.
Well, isn't this the example of the dry ice as well?
Same principle. It's all going to be subject to entropy increase. Doesn't matter which example you throw at me.
Well, I was in nightclubs years ago, raves and all that, and they pumped out loads of dry ice. And I guarantee if you went back to them places now, that dry ice is gone.
No, wrong.
That floor anymore.
No, it'll have just rolled away like solid bonded bouncy balls.
To contain a gas, you need a solid container to contain it, whether it be plastic, metal, glass, something. You need something that's solid to contain it. So what is the density of gravity? Because they claim gravity is creating a density gradient, a pressure gradient.
But that's a concept.
No. It's the density that creates the gravity. And the gravity creates the density. It's
Concepts can't create anything.
They can conceptually.
Just think about it, Neil.
I'm thinking about it. My brain's frying.
Well, then it did its job. That's exactly what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, sounds like it's working. Force sounds like it's being applied.
Yeah, the ballers used to come in and say that where's the container between the density gradients? Or the pressure gradients, I'm sorry. Well, the reason they would say that is because within their atmospheric law, they have imaginary containers between each layer that's pressing down on the layer below it.
So that was oh my god, it's like the Edge from the Flat Earth Society and the Bloody Dome. Yes. It's that, so they're projecting. Essentially, they've got imaginary. Of course, they have. They've got the Kármán line. Why didn't I realise this? I could kiss you.
Well, yeah. That's I started looking into it when Ed brought it up, and that's the first thing I seen when I Googled it, was that there's imaginary volumes pressing down on the volumes below it.
Ah, see, we can explain it just with a kettle.
All right.
So you boil a kettle, and you get a higher pressure right next to the spout, a higher concentration of gas coming out of the narrow opening. But as you go higher up, it gets less. Kind of like a gradiated pressure of the gas that's been produced in the kettle. Now, if you went a mile above the kettle, you wouldn't even know the gas would have spread out so much. Now, did that require individual layers of containment? Or did it just spread out and there was more being created at the ground in the kettle than there was higher up? I think you'll find containment for the gradiated pressure that can be produced inside the antecedent required to have any pressure at all. To give my kettle example, obviously if there was no containment and the sky was a vacuum, I wouldn't be boiling any kettles, I'd be dead.
Ditto.
If you notice in the
this
comments,
discussion before,
they'll
remember?
say,
Sorry.
Go on, John.
if you look in the comments, they'll bring up that imaginary containers can contain gas, and that's what they're talking about. Is within their sphere law for gas that they have imaginary containers holding gas.
Yeah, I gleaned that from what you said, and it's suddenly a penny drop moment for me because you're like, yeah, I've argued with people about their imaginary containers. So, yeah, but why would they be asking us about why you'd need separate individual containment? Well, it's a projection to not highlight the fact that they can't have gas dissipating into lower pressure zones, i.e. a gradient, because they haven't got any containment at all. So you can't just explain the gas dissipating through another gas because it's all at pressure and requires containment. So just have a whole bunch of imaginary lines with pressure gradients in between them, right? Well, where are any of them? Well, they're only conceptual, like our model, like the vacuum, like the Earth curve, like the Coriolis effect.
Right. They have a virtual lid of gradiated layers of weight.
Yep. Exactly. That's a very...
And the weight is the lid. Remember that? When you kept asking that baller, like, so what is on top of that layer?
Well, what's it pressing on at the top?
Pressing on it, and then what on top of that layer? Yeah, that's how it works.
Yep. Craig, Fight the Flat Earth, says that gravity creates an emergent force. Coincidentally also called gravity, says Retro Bill. Thank you very much indeed for the super chat, Retro Bill. Yeah, he had a guy on his show called George Musa, and he said, gravity is not a force. You can think of it as a force. Maybe he's thinking of it as an emergent force.
Yep.
But an emergent
Gravity
force
causes the force of
yeah.
gravity.
Sorry, Harvey.
Remember that?
Well, at least we know
Yeah,
he can do
but-
what he's told. He's thinking of it as a force, and the way Craig's thinking of it as a force, as instructed, because he's a good dog, is by thinking of it as an emergent force. So, good job thinking of it as a force as instructed, Craig. Well done.
I'm saying he even demonstrated entropy. As the balloon popped, all the gas dispersed into the available volume.
Indeed.
Why did he need a balloon in the first place?
Don't know how the balloon got up there, but what
Hey,
with
you
gas?
You need
Yes.
a container to demonstrate a container.
Oh, there you go. Thanks.
I was just going to say, how did the balloon get up there? I mean, gas goes down, go boom, boom, like bouncy balls poured into a fish tank, doesn't it? How did the balloon go? Which direction did it go again?
Up.
Oh, I think Mr. Smiley needs to get in touch with Thunderfoot Clown. Point out that his go down, go boom, boom with gravity is being violated, and an example that he's punting. He's also simultaneously punting that he can see a physical Earth curve edge in these images. Am I wrong? I don't need to see it. I just gleaned this from the description. Apparently they're claiming they can see Earth curve. What, the physical geometric sphere edge horizon formerly known as Earth curve, you mean? You think you can see that from this image? No, wouldn't matter which image it was. We'd just laugh at you and point out the horizon's not physical. Remember? We wouldn't expect to see a geometric horizon. But you would. What, in these images it's suddenly a geometric sphere edge blocking boats and buildings again? No, hello?
Isn't he famous for, at best, you've disproven the radius of the Earth with Mitchell?
Yeah, he's forgotten his own quote. Why would it be at best we would have debunked the radius? Well, because we don't see a geometric physical sphere edge or horizon anymore. So based on that being put to him, he said, well, that would only debunk the radius because you couldn't measure it in its physicality. But he thinks he can see physicality in Earth curve edges from this M.A.G.E shite he's put up. No, he's an idiot. And he's got a short memory.
But he's trying to prove what the actual radius is that we disproved. Don't you get it?
Well, he'd need a physical geometric sphere edge for a horizon to do that now, wouldn't he?
Right. So he's trying to reaffirm it.
What, by having a look at it? Oh, I've had a look at it now from
Doing
high
the
up,
mind
so now
experiment
it's physical.
over again up close. See?
Up close to a not actual location?
Using no, but I mean not just visualizing it in his head, but actually doing something physically out there to make the mind experiment more up close.
I see. So in doing something physically with a balloon and sending something physically up to the sky to look at the horizon, it, because he's used the word physical a lot in his physical example, makes the horizon physical now?
It makes it easier for him to engage in the mind experiment once again.
Oh, until we come along and say, yeah, aren't you forgetting that you've conceded we'd have to debunk the geometric radius value derived from a physical edge if you haven't got one?